Good evening. Welcome to the Power Hour. I am Steve. C. Red will join us a little bit later on tonight. And we're very excited about this episode. I know I am personally because I have been a fan of this human being for quite a few years in this business. His reputation is stellar. Ladies and gentlemen, is the ARW champion, the one and only Greg Glover. Hello, Greg.
Steve, thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it. You sound extra excited. I feel like you've been working the vocal cords out for this episode a
We
little
have.
bit. Yeah,
You
and
know, I
you're
have to give you my best. And here's the thing about it. As we're getting ready to put a wrap on this whole podcast in December, I have been very particular about the last shows that we have lined up. As we get closer to the end, December 16th is the final episode of this show. After that, we go into oblivion. So I have, a couple of people that are coming on as we get a little closer in December. And I was trying to figure out, well, I really want to have powerful guests. So I usually book the show, weeks in advance. But I was kind of leaving some dates open because I was trying to see if I could get the guests that I've always wanted to have. So here we are sitting in the locker room at ARW at the Hammond Civic Center. And, I'm changing, you're changing. It's after the show's over. And when you turned to me and said, "Hey, do you still have that podcast?" I almost shit myself personally because I'm like, "Yes, I do. How fortuitous is this? Would you like to be a part of it?" And then you said yes. And then the rest, everything just kind of lined up. So I
yeah.
appreciate you being here because I've wanted to have you on here for a long time. But, our paths haven't crossed in many years either. I just kind of showed up out of the blue at ARW, and there you are. And I was sitting with Josh as we're getting ready. He didn't give me the card ahead of time. And I'm like, "What's the main?" He's like, "Well, it's the champion. He's got a big match." And I'm like, "Who's the champ here?" And he's like, "Glover." I'm like, "Fucking Glover is the champ here?" That's how out of touch I was with ARW. So as soon as I saw that show, I'm like, give me the rest of your dates. I will do this forever. As long as Glover's champion, I am going to be his Jim Ross. I'm
Oh
going
man.
to deliver the goods every time Glover has to fight. And I have seen some pretty interesting Greg Glover moments in my short run at ARW. And I want to start with Team Creed versus Team Glover. Uh, that was one of the most controversial and just unorthodox matches I've seen. Not necessarily because it was, because of the wrestling match. I mean, Survivor Series type thing, pretty standard stuff. But that thing went off the rails quickly, and it got pretty physical between you and CMOS Dave. I know your history. Kind of take us back to that night, that team challenge. You kind of ended up at the end of the match with CMOS Dave and Creed against you. You're kind of by yourself because your team had been eliminated. Take us through that situation and what went down.
Yeah, so that night in particular, for starters, I always liked the Survivor Series match. I always enjoyed that when I was a kid. So when you get to be the captain of a Survivor
Right.
Series team, that's always like a special honor going up against it. And having both of the top singles champions, myself as the ARW Pro Champion, and then James Creed as the Indiana State Champion. It was only fitting to be able to have that done. And leading up to that match, we actually did some really nice segments of basically having like picking our draft
Right.
team and stuff like that. And I remember Creed's last pick, and I thought it was a brilliant pick, and I will always give James his due, even though James is kind of a piece, if you know what I mean.
I do.
Uh,
I've worked with James Creed for many a year now, and I know exactly how diabolical that sunshine can be.
Right. So even though he's a piece, James did a really smart thing by bringing CMOS Dave onto his team. Not only can CMOS Dave, bring it from every aspect of a physicality standpoint, but that man knows me better than really anybody does in this business because we broke in together. CMOS Dave used to go by Brian Nelson, and we were the tag team if looks could kill. And I'm sure that we're going to get down
We
some
are going to
old
get, I've
stories
got a
about some,
lot of questions, but yes, that is very true.
right, the old ILCK days, and those are really some of my favorite times. But to get back into this specifically, I what I thought about that match was very interesting is that the 8 participants in that match really had a lot of intertwining things between one another, and it's hard to always do that in a massive tag team situation. But Sempiternal, as they're known now, had jumped me prior. They had jumped Moon and cost him the Indiana State
Yep.
Championship, and with Colt Classic bringing in with Judas and Jojo Valentine, and that really made a lot of sense. And then Brendan, obviously tying in on my team and really tying the whole bow off with CMOS Dave and the connections that he's had with everyone across that way too. He's had great series of matches with Brendan, and then obviously the history between myself. There just couldn't have been a better story to tell from that instance. But as the match unfolds, I don't know if there are two individuals that you would least want to see from the ARW locker room across from yourself if you had to be in a handicap spot, which I was at that time. So what I just found interesting and where I really got kind of caught off guard by everything is that you know James kind of he really started to provoke CMOS in a
Yep.
way that you just don't do, like I know it's not a side that you want to get on. And eventually he just kind of snapped. And I thought, and this is where I don't let my guard down too often, especially when I'm focused in a match like that specifically. But I guess with the years of history that we had and everything that was along for that ride, I just thought that I really thought that there was going to be a come to Jesus moment, so to speak. And you might have seen, and if looks could kill reunion there.
And we were all, I mean, we thought it was that moment, and we, instead of getting that triumphant moment, we got Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels in the barber shop.
Yeah.
We were shocked.
And it was just as violent as that, really. I
Right.
mean, without the glass shattering, but I mean that chair might as well have shattered
Good
on
Lord,
my
those were
back.
some chair
Uh,
shots from hell.
yeah, that took a couple of years off my career, but I think when you're in this industry and you have the opportunity to make moments like that, I tried to make a moment with him, and I tried to bring our tag team back together. I thought that really could have been an awesome moment for the ARW fans because we were tag champions there for a long time, multiple times even, and I just think that when that's kind of what brought my guard down, is I was so excited for that moment internally that I thought it could have happened. But then to have it all kind of shatter there quickly was very difficult. And I was lucky to be able to have a month in between there to kind of get my mind right again, because not only did I need to get my body right, but I needed to get my mind right, because CMOS Dave is not somebody who a lot of people are familiar with. Uh, you know, Brian Nelson was somebody completely separate from who
Yes.
this entity of a person
And
is.
that's the thing that blew my mind until they I hadn't seen him in years. And when he came out of CMOS Dave, I'm like, God, that guy looks so familiar. I've been doing this for going on 13 years, so I've seen a lot of matches. I've called a lot of matches,
Yeah,
and I remember if looks could kill very well. Hades talks at length about those days at Dreamwave and things of that nature. So I'm very familiar with that career time that you had with him.
yeah,
And then it took me a minute I'm like, oh my God, that's that's Nelson. What CMOS Dave, what the hell is this? So I had that epiphany rather late in the process, and then watching you two try to beat the holy hell out of each other. After things went sideways in that Survivor Series type match, it blew my mind, and that's where I think the storytelling took such a next level turn and led directly to the main event at the Hammond Civic Center. But just the storytelling from that aspect in that Team Glover versus Team Creed, the fact that you were the captain of some of the brightest young stars that wrestling has right now. It's
Yep.
like you are leading a team of young men that are traveling a road that you once did many years ago. And
Mm.
your match with Brendan Balling is one of my favorite matches this year because I thought it was just an incredibly paced match. I was really enjoyable. If you love wrestling, I encourage you to check out Glover versus Balling. I thought that was a really good match. And then now you're teammates with him after that got very physical. And
Right.
then obviously Judas and Moon, they're running in the same circles. And then Creed versus his Sempiternal, which for the longest time I thought was a brand of underwear at Victoria's Secret, um, as I have told him on commentary many times. And then you've got CMOS Dave. It was a very strange way to come back to this moment that pitted you two against each other that led to the biggest main event maybe in ARW history at the Hammond Civic Center.
Well, right, and I think that especially with the instance of that match in particular, when it led to the Hammond Civic Center, that was something that was very special to both of us. He'll tell you the same thing, but in his own different way. Um, I could tell that it meant something because we we always had dreams of doing it together. So I know where that comes from in his mindset as it led up to that and and I want to go back to something that you said a little bit earlier by me captaining this team of the young, bright and shining stars of ARW Pro. That's that's something that these past 3 years in my tenure at ARW Pro, when I re-upped on a new contract with them to make sure that I not only was I going to be exclusive with ARW Pro, but that I was going to give an opportunity to a lot of this up and coming talent that we were going to have, and I've had great matches with all those guys. I've had a great match with Josh Moon. I had a great match with Judas Chavez. I had a great match with Brendan Balling. I had multiple matches with James Creed,
Yes.
and and I am and Nick Diamond, and gosh, the whole list of the talent pool that is in our locker room right now. I am happy to lead the way for all of them. That's been the most rewarding thing of this is being able to step in the ring with all of them and show them how a main event style works and how to keep the pacing, like you said, and the emotion, and to be able to tell the stories that we do while we're out there. Um, that's something that I'm really, really proud of. And I wouldn't change this past 3 years for the world. I think it's been just super rewarding for my long career.
I had been aware of ARW for obviously a while, but it always seemed like the dates they were running would conflict with other obligations that I had, and I got to the point where I had dropped a few things that I was doing. And then Josh called me up and said, "Hey, are you available on this day?" I'm like, it's getting to the end of the run for me. Maybe I should take this opportunity. And one of the best decisions I ever made, one of the great opportunities to be there at this time at ARW. It just seems like it's that launch pad time where this company is leveling up to a next level type promotion. You don't put that many people in the Hammond Civic Center
Mm.
without in back in the day, back in your glory years. I don't even know if I want to call them that because I think this is the best version of you I've ever seen. And
Yeah.
we've seen some pretty impressive versions. But back in the day, when you would get promotions like Dreamwave, PCW, some of the big ones that were running in the late late tens, early, from 2010 to 2020,
Mm,
you would have big venues with 1,000 people crowd, but you would have to pay thousands of dollars to bring in the Nasty Boys, the Hardy Boys, Sting. I know PCW did the Dream Nights where they would bring in the big guns, and you would have autograph signings before the show, and halfway through the show, the half the crowd would go away because they got their shit signed.
mm,
But the Hammond Civic Center, the energy in that crowd and the amount of people that crammed into that place
yep.
without a quote unquote superstar tells you all you need to know, in my opinion, about ARW and what it means to that community, Indiana and the Chicago area in general, because you don't put 800 plus people in a building like that with only a few weeks of promotion time. I mean, we found out about that. I want to say it was early September it started being promoted, and it was in October, and the place was crazy. I mean, it was such a great crowd and such a great show, which is a tribute to what you and your peers are doing at ARW. That's what
Yep.
makes it so exciting for me is to be able to call this stuff because it is so engaging and the storytelling is so top notch. And I think that's why there were so many people in Hammond that night.
Yeah, yeah. And to further expand on that, I always I take a lot of pride in ARW specifically because that's where I broke in at, and for it to now be a sought out and desired location where some of the top talent wants to compete in the Chicagoland area is something that's very it's very again rewarding to me for that because we're able to take things to the next level. And it was always something that as I branched out and I started working some of the larger federations, Chicago style. I love those guys over there. I miss that time. That
Well,
was a
there'll be
great
a lot of talk about that as once
yeah.
Greg gets here.
Yeah. And I loved that. I loved that time. I mean, Pro Wrestling Blitz and AAW and Dreamwave and all of the big Chicagoland locations get their due, but it always felt like ARW Pro was kind of like the redheaded stepchild, like, oh, they're just a rinky dink, like Indiana promotion, and they don't go as hard as what we do and everything like that. And it took a little while. It took a little bit of just a shot of of a new vision in the upper management. But as that's come and still with Joey Boom Boom at the helm of everything, um, nothing. it's hard for me to it's hard for me to really put into perspective how big of an opportunity that we have, especially in all independent wrestling currently right now. I think the landscape is changing, and if you're not down with ARW Pro and you haven't checked us out yet, I would get in now. I would buy the stock while it's at that $2 range instead of buying it when you could have bought it at the penny stocks, because our stock is only going to continue to keep going up.
And not only is it because of the great veteran leadership, but the young and up and coming talent is so dynamic. From the tag team champions, the program, to Nick Diamond, as you said,
Yep.
James Creed. Obviously he's been established now for a few years, but Moon and Balling and Chavez. I mean, these are guys that I had not I'd heard of, but I'd never seen until I got there. And I'm just like, this is cake doing commentary because it's unfolding, and all I just have to do is be a fan of wrestling and talk about it. That it makes my job so easy because the stories are being told for me. I just have to account it for historical purposes.
Yes. Right.
And
Right.
I love every minute of it. I have loved, and now I'm super excited because we're getting a little ahead of ourselves because I still want to talk about Hammond, but we're coming up on Black and Blue Wednesday, which is ARW's calling card. I don't want to say it's WrestleMania because everybody says it's our WrestleMania. I don't want to say that, but this is a day of the year that it would not be an easy one to have a ton of fans come to the day before Thanksgiving, but every year it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And now people are chomping at the bit for this one. I can't tell you how many people have told me they're going to this show. And I'm like, well, what a coincidence. This is my first one too. So,
Yeah.
it's so big and it's getting bigger and bigger as we go. And certainly the Hammond Civic Center, major catalyst to it. So I have a feeling that this is going to be just a monstrous happening the day before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, right. And that's what really makes it the most special too, is I think that a lot of people come into town for that too, right? I mean, like we're from the Midwest. We love that family environment. We love Thanksgiving and we love hanging around and watching football the next day. But what better way to kind of kick into that day than getting a little bit of shot in the arm for adrenaline before you go out and you see all your friends for Black Wednesday, as
Right,
they call it, out
exactly.
of bars and stuff like that. So it's just a natural progression, and yeah, it just continues to keep getting bigger and bigger. I mean, we had to move from the banquet hall that we booked last time, that held a pretty substantial amount of people. Gino's over there in Hobart, and now we're going to be at the Maria Reiner Center again, which is right in downtown Hobart. It's an awesome place to be able to go out to all of those festivities afterwards. Hopefully I still retain my championship and I'll go have a celebratory cocktail with you down at End Zone, or maybe Tavern on the Lake. That would be
I'm
nice.
bringing some whiskey so we can have it right after the show immediately. We're getting
I'm
started.
gonna need it.
We're getting started as soon as the party's over.
Love that.
Back to the Hammond Civic Center.
Yeah.
I've watched the footage of you walking out uh, for your match, and you walk through the curtain, and I'm watching you kind of look around and take stock of the situation, and you just look so incredibly satisfied to what you were watching. Take me through walking through that curtain and seeing just the absolute magnetism in that room.
Yeah, and I even did a promotional video leading up to it,
Right.
just kind of right before the event kind of started. It was the day before and everything, and as soon as I got off of my plane, I wanted to come straight to the building because um, it the historical significance of that building and professional wrestling is synonymous with one another. And for a kid from Northwest Indiana to say that he headlined the same building that some of the absolute top best in the entire business, in all of the companies, it doesn't matter what
Doesn't
era
matter.
you're
Yep.
from. Yeah, it doesn't matter what era you're from. You saw some of the best ones there, and I met a ton of new fans too. That was the great thing about it, is that Hammond's an awesome wrestling town, and I think that they were really clamoring for something like that for professional wrestling to come into play, and for the Civic Center to give us that opportunity was really special. It was really important. It sounds like we will be back. It sounds like
Yes.
there are some things in the works, so I'm excited to hear how that continues on and everything. But yeah, as I walked through the curtain, most of the time I'm kind of quick to the ring. I don't like to meander around, but I thought this time, especially given the moment and given the significance and all the different people that came in to see me, I wanted to take that time um, to not only soak it into my memory banks, but really to acknowledge all of them, because when you do it for as long as you have, and you perform for as many people as you do, um, sometimes you can kind of take for granted the things that are in front of you. And I wanted to make sure that I took that time to really look people in the eye that were around the ring and up in the bleachers and everything, to just say like, hey, I acknowledge you. I see you up there, and thank you for being here. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for taking your time. That was a long event. It was a long time. It was about 4 hours, you know. But a lot of people stayed the entire time, and it was important for me as the last match and the last person to walk through the curtain for the event specifically, it was important for me to let them know that from the bottom of my heart, I was thankful. I was very thankful. And coming into Thanksgiving, it's kind of cool, but I was very, very thankful for that time. And I don't know how much longer I have doing this, but in that moment, right then and there, I could have died a happy man. It would have been pretty cool.
You have one of the biggest crowds that ARW has ever had. You're at a historic building where names like Hogan, Flair, some of the big giants that this industry has ever seen have walked in those halls. And here you are at the main event, and you're fighting the person that has been with you the longest.
Mm-hmm.
Is that one of those moments where you're standing there before the bell rings and you're just contemplating where you've been and what you've done because you're staring across from your former tag team partner? It's about to go down. Your story has been set for this moment. The animosity is there. We know that this is going to be a fight and it's going to be a banger. And you're standing there waiting for that bell. And what is going through? I mean, are you just like, I'm going to get myself in focused and be ready to go? Or are you just going, man, what a great career this has been?
I think it's a little bit of everything. There's emotions, all kinds, all over the spectrum for that particular moment. Like I said, I was very thankful for everyone being around, and not only thankful, but you quickly have to shift into a gear when you're with a competitor like CMOS, and you have to become focused. But at the same time, it's like I've known this man my entire life, and we trained together. We were inseparable. We were roommates in college. We were business partners. We were tag team partners. So to have that opportunity to do that was really special. But yeah, every emotion that you could imagine. And there was some anger, obviously, at what he did to me at that moment. But then there was a little bit of a connection that we have, and even at sometimes too, you could catch if you go back and look at some of the photographs that our wonderful photographer Halinka. She's awesome,
She's
man.
amazing.
I don't think she gets enough credit, so I'm going to be one of the ones to shout her out. But she does such a good job, and it's a thankless job too. She doesn't have to do that.
Nope.
She doesn't have to spend her time at all these different federations catching our good side and really giving us
Yep.
the moments and the memories that we're going to be thankful for later on. But man, I I can remember looking back at some of those photographs, and he's even got a smile on his face. Now, granted, he's trying to pop my head like a pimple in
As
a
it
head
happens.
tough, right, as it happens. But I could tell that it wasn't the anguish that he was putting on me at the time. It was the look of, hey, we're here. Let's enjoy it a little bit. Let's have some fun.
And it was such a great match. First of all, welcome to the show. Now, C Red is here. Hello, C Red. Happy
What's
Yeah.
Veterans
going
Day
on?
to you. Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Thank you.
We were just talking with our guest Greg Glover about the main event at the Hammond Civic Center. You and I had the opportunity to call that match. It was such a great match from just all aspects, from the story to the way the performances were to the energy of the crowd. Red, you have been in this business a long time, going into the Hall of Fame at CSW in a week or so. What did you take away from Greg Glover's match with CMOS Dave?
How the hell did we get here?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, when you know two guys for extended period of time, uh, and you kind of lose, contact, stop sharing the same locker rooms, and and then you look up, and then there's a whole. For the longest, I couldn't figure out who the hell C. Moss Dave was. Like,
I had the same problem.
so there's a a guy that used to wrestle, and he wrestled under a hood, and he called himself Sea Monster, some shit like that, or whatever. And I thought that's who it was. Like I thought he just like he changed MASH or something.
Right, just broke on the scene. Like, who
Right.
is
And
this
I was
dude?
like, and then I finally said, okay, hold on, let me figure out who C Moss David. What?
Yeah.
What the hell? And then I had to start watching past and more past videos, and it was like, oh, okay, he's really into C Moss. Oh, okay, I get that. But where's all this hate coming from? Like these two guys, I mean, they were thick as thieves. They were the epitome of what a tag team should look like. And it was like, now they trying to kill each other? Like, oh, okay. So then I felt like a little crackhead because I'm watching every little video I can. Like, what? Okay, so what happened the next month? I gotta find that video. Like, I really got wrapped up into the story. So you got me like heavily involved in your story in ARW only for the simple fact I've known both of you guys. And if you would have asked me 10 years ago, like, if looks could kill, what do you see him 10 years down the line? Still tagging, they done made it to the big time because they got the looks, you know. I'm like, they are what a tag team should be. And it was like, no, now they're hating each other. One's in jeans and the other one, well, your look ever, you know, you evolve your look every so often, you know. I ain't gonna lie. I did love the long hair. I'm not gonna lie.
I did too, man. It just started falling out. That's the problem.
Well, don't get here, bro. Don't get
Right.
here.
We're hanging on. We're hanging on.
Hold on to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. But you guys did an awesome job at putting on a spectacular match that I had to sit back later that night when we were, you know, we talked after the match and we set this thing up. And me and Steve went upstairs, and Steve was sitting next to me, but he was talking to somebody else. And for a second, I had to take it all in. And I was like, that was what a main event is supposed to be.
Thank you very
And
much for that.
I felt some pride because I was like, I know those guys. I know those guys. I'm like,
Oh man,
we grinded with those guys.
I was going to say it's not even a no, man. I mean, we worked.
We were joined at the hip for a while.
Literally every weekend. Like, and for you to say that about us and our tag team, and that's the way it should be and everything. I mean, nobody knows it better than you. That's why you're going into the CSW Hall of Fame, and that's why you are recognized around our area as being one of the absolute staples and one of the best. And for you to say that, man, that really it gives me a lot of warmth, you know, a little soft side and everything. But thank you for that. I really do appreciate it. That's awesome.
So now that C-Red's here, I want to take you back through the mists of time. Let's go back to August of 2010.
Oh, man.
Back at CSW.
Mm-hmm.
You were all there at this
15
time.
years
And I know
ago.
this because there was a little match. There was a little match. It was I want to call it a maybe not a six-man tag, but a tag team triple threat match. And it was the Soul Touches, Acid Jazz, Willie Bomb Richardson, and it was the tag team of Jason Hades and Brubaker.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was If Looks Could Kill. So it's the Soul Touches. I believe Hades and Brubaker were going by members only at the time.
Members only with the A-list. I don't know if
Right,
Fox
that's what I was
It was the A-list. It was the A-list.
That's what I thought.
Yep.
And then there's you, If Looks Could Kill, at CSW. And I have to believe Red was managing back in 2010.
Of course.
So let's talk.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember this exchange? Because I'm looking at those six men, Jazz and Willie, you know their story, the Soul Touches. Obviously, Nelson and Glover, if looks could kill, look where they are now. And then you have fucking Hades and Brubaker.
Oh yeah.
Well, that spawned from Dreamwave.
Right.
Mhm.
So to put them together was not far fetched. Uh,
Right.
it was a thing that at the time, again, if it's hot, well, why not? It was hot in LaSalle. Light wasn't shit better than the A list, and why not see if it'll work up north? So they brought it to CSW, and I vaguely remember the match. I do remember there was a spot. I think Willie flew and like
Uncle Drip Drip flew.
to see everybody's eyes. Oh, every now and then Willie would, he'll pull something out the hat and be
Well,
like,
and that's what you got to remember too is like with that being 15 years ago, Willie could, I mean, Willie can always go, but the
Yeah.
fact that when you get prime Willie at that time, because like Brian Nelson and I were only like 20, 2021 at that time. And you got young Hades and Brubaker too. Like Willie was the vet, but Willie was still in his prime. He was probably like at the peak of his powers or getting into. So, I mean, for all six of that, I mean, gosh, can you imagine that if that were a match now, that alone in and of itself draws,
I want that match run back. As general manager of CSW, I'm running that back. We're going to find a way to make that work.
that ain't gonna happen.
No, probably not. No,
We're going to
probably
work
not.
on it.
But we'd be printing money if we could figure it out.
That would be great. And maybe even if Willie wants to just kind of hang around, maybe plug Marche in where Jazz is, because I don't know about Willie's knees. Willie says I can get back in the ring and do it, but I know how bad knees feel, so I worry about Willie trying to get in that ring and trying to throw potatoes around the thing right these days.
Yeah.
But I would still like to see a match like that because back in 2010, this was CSW at a high point. Right now, CSW has achieved itself, and they're at a really high place right now, thanks to the ingenuity and the leadership of Hades, who basically runs CSW right now. So it kind of tracks that it would go this direction. But man, at that time to see the Soul Touches and four of the best young talents in the business between If Looks Could Kill and Hades and Brubaker, that must have just been that must have just been amazing.
Yeah, I can remember like Red said a little bit earlier. I can remember two really vivid spots of that. I was the victim of Willie's pounce, and and anytime you're the victim of that,
Ouch.
you're gonna have to take a little break afterwards, and we're gonna collect our thoughts and try to pick ourselves up afterwards. That's the young guy stuff there. And then I remember a brouhaha kind of engaged, and we're all fighting on the outside, and we get close to some of the bleachers over there at that building. um and Brian Nelson goes up to the top of the bleachers, and he does a backflip onto all five of us. He was aiming for Willie, and by good regard, I would say that that's probably the person that if you're going to do something like that, that's who you want to break your fall. But I remember that being a match that was really important to us at the time, and I'm so glad that you brought that up because it's a great memory. It's a great memory with a bunch of really good people that are still around and still doing their thing, and I just remember it being important to us at the time because we it was that moment of like, okay, we belong. Like I think we knew we did, but until you do it at the highest level or the level that you're at currently, it's like, how do you really know? Does that make sense?
100%, 100%. And the
Yeah.
Soul Touches and If Looks Could Kill tussled many times through the years.
Oh yeah.
I was looking up and watching some of the old stuff, and I'm thinking to myself, share a memory that you have about wrestling the Soul Touches with C Red as the manager. Is there anything that, I mean, obviously that match we just talked about is pretty cool, but I mean,
Yeah.
you guys ran the roads for many, many years. What are some of your fondest memories of not only C Red as a manager, but Marche and Jazz and
Yeah.
Willie as opponents?
Okay, so I have two, and I think they're both great ones. So the first time I remember, Red, do you remember when we did the same night, all in a night tag tournament to crown the CSW tag champions?
No.
Okay. All right, so
On, Red.
I'm gonna refresh your memory. So it literally was a card of all tag matches throughout the entire night. And we and the Soul Touches worked 3 matches in that night, and the last match was against each other, right? So we were in the finals of that championship. It was Jazz and Marche versus Brian Nelson and myself. And I remember that. I remember that being a really, really special night too, because we were obviously young and in shape at that time, but but we had 3 separate sets of gear, and I remember it being very important to us that we needed to space out. We went to Boz at the time, and we were like, hey, we got this idea right where we want to make sure that we can get all of our gear in. So we're coming out in different colors each time. We had the green, we had the orange, and we had the I think it was purple at the time. Might have been the next one up, but we wanted to do it right in a tag setting like that. Is like you said, we always stood out with our tag team because we took it seriously. We looked good, and we wanted to be those guys that you remember, no matter what you did. And that was a way of having us stand out and be different, was to make sure that we were going to not only have the best gear, but the flashiest, kind of like the brightest, and it stood out in different ways too. So we were able to kind of have that. But I remember the finals of that, and I remember looking over at Jazz and Marche and us just being like, man, we're tired. You know what I mean? Like when you work 3 matches in a night, I mean, I can remember it being just very hard on all of us, and us just being like, okay, let's stay on plan with everything, and let's make sure that it was going to be everything that we wanted it to be. But I remember it delivered. I don't remember it being a bad match. I remember it being pretty cool. And again, I just thought, like, who gives the opportunity to do a same night tag tournament where you're having like 8 tag matches in a night? Like, that'd be pretty hard to do nowadays, I think, because I don't think there's that many good tag teams that are out there to be able to do that.
It has certainly become a limited pool of really good top-notch tag teams. And back in your day, back when If Looks Could Kill was at its heyday and the Soul Touches were, there were so many really good tag teams that
Mhm.
you just think about. I mean, Hollister and Lawrence, members only. That's where I got them confused. They were a great tag team, and I've
Oh, yeah.
worked with Hollister lately, and he still can get it done. And one of my all-time favorite tag teams on the indie scene, Zero Gravity,
Yeah.
Gaikia and Esparza. I would love to have seen you and Nelson fight Zero Gravity, and that's happened a couple of times. What a great match! What a great complementary tag team. I mean, that must have been electric.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I want to go back to them, but I want to make sure that I stay on point with this
Yeah,
second
I'm
member.
all over the map. I'm just excited to be
That's
here.
okay.
Right.
That's okay. I think it takes a village, so that's why it's important to kind of come back to that at the time. But I love that you mentioned Shane Hollister, one of the funniest guys that you'll ever have in a locker room. I miss him. I hope he's doing well, Shane. If you're listening to this, hope you're doing well, brother. Hope all is well. But the second memory, and this is more of like a memory on our side of the fence of everything, but what so what had happened was is that We're both in college at the time. We went to Ball State University, Brian Nelson and I. And I remember that we were working a federation in Bloomington, Indiana, while we were also working at CSW. And this was when Austin Roberts would have taken the CSW Northland, I think. Was that the brand that it was, Red? Northland? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's when they just started running that other building at that time. And they wanted to go play the hits, right? They wanted if looks could kill versus the soul touches again. And it's like, all right, cool. We'll do it for the seventh or eighth time in like a year at that moment, but it was great. It was awesome. What had happened is that this at the time, right, when you're booking your calendars for everything, it was like, okay, CSW might have been like the second Saturday in every month, and Bloomington would have been like the third Saturday in every month. So it never really bothered anything. But what I remember is that Bloomington actually had to change for something. There was something going on at their venue, and we double booked at the time and literally didn't realize it until 2 days before the event was going to happen. So then we're in a conundrum where we're like, okay, we're the tag champs at CSW at the time, but we're challenging the tag champions in Bloomington, and we didn't want to like stiff either because they were both good to us and everything in the way that it went down. So we called both promoters and basically just told them, hey, we fudged up, but we're going to make it right on both accounts. And we're actually just going to send one of us to each one of the events, and wrote it in the storyline to where it made sense of why everything was happening. Do you remember, Red, this match about a handicap match that you guys actually worked against Brian Nelson?
Red's old. Yeah,
I love this, Red. So you're gonna love this too, because this is funny. Okay, so what we did is again, we have different sets of gear, right? So what had happened is we decided to send a pair of my tights up with Dave. That was the same color that he was going to wear that night, right? And we shot a backstage vignette where somebody, I don't actually know who wore my gear, but basically the vignette was shot in a way to be able to show that I had gotten taken out right before the match was about to start, and Brian Nelson was going to have to go into it as a handicap match against Acid Jazz and Marche, right? So then what I was doing in the opposite time was I'm down in Bloomington, and I didn't know the exact way of what I was going to do, but I'm like, I got to do something that's going to be like cool for these people, because they didn't have the same like ability to shoot a promo and actually show it on a projector beforehand. I remember Northland had that, so it made sense to be able to do it there. But I was like, man, I want to do something that's going to be different. I want to do something that's going to stand out to the people. So what I actually did was I raffled off my tag team spot to someone in the crowd, because I basically, like, we were heels down there, and I cut a promo beforehand, basically just saying like, Brian's off doing what he needs to do and everything up in Chicago. I can handle it down here. We don't really need to. We could beat you with one guy. You didn't need both of us, right? So, but if you really want to make it, for the tag team championships down there, I'll go ahead and I'll pick anybody in this crowd randomly. We'll raffle off the spot, and you can be my tag team partner for the night, right? And what had happened in that night was that, my roommate, another roommate of ours, his name was Shane. There is Shane. He's still alive. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Hi, Shane.
Yeah. Hi, Shane. I'm going to make sure that you see this too, because this is a great memory. He still talks about this. It was great. It was funny. So what ends up happening in ours is that Shane won the raffle to be my tag team partner. Coincidentally, I don't know, it's a large building in there, but he was able to win the raffle, and Shane was my tag team partner. And the entire time I'm working, a match against them, and I'm putting heat on these guys, and I'm just the entire tease of the match was, well, they want to see Shane get in, right? So like they wanted us to like kind of work together and like me to tag him in, and I never tagged him in. I had worked this entire match basically to the point where I think it was like a top rope superplex. There was like a double down or something like that. And this is the moment, right, where like the hot tag's coming in, you tag your partner, and they go to blows. So everyone's chanting Shane, 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 because they want to see this guy who's just a normal guy, red hair, nothing overly the top about him, just wrestling jeans and a Hollister shirt. And I tagged him to get him in, and he kind of like circles around with I wasn't Donnie Tsunami, I forget his partner, but the Tsunamis, his partner, whoever it was. My bad on that if you're watching this. But they circle around, and eventually, Shane's about to like run in and do whatever it was that he was doing, and I tag him out, right? So immediately boos, boo, boo. Oh, you took it away from us, whatever. So then I get in and I start reaming Shane, and I'm like, I didn't need you. I still don't need you, blah, 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 whatever. Like, don't get in my business. And I'm poking him in the chest. And Shane gives me, hauls off, gives me a great slap. And I turn around into their double team finish. I get laid out. I take the pin, and Shane actually pins me on top of it. That was the finish to the match. But the entire crowd just loved that match. And I thought that's one of my favorite, like, just random oddball stories where you got to kind of make stuff work. But man, I thought that was an awesome gimmick to be able to run. And yeah, it was
and nowadays, you worry about the fans coming over the barricade, and it's a lot different than it was then. But
yeah.
that must have been one of those moments where you pissed off everybody, and that's the great reaction about it, because that's what you were trying to do. So success, 100%.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. And our gimmick down there too was, it's a college town. So it's like, we're college frat boys. That's part of If Looks Could Kill, and what we were able to do, a little bit of a bromance in there during those times. So they naturally just hated us because we're good looking, don't really care. And our ish don't stink, so to speak. So it was a great night. It was so much fun. I still remember that match. It's probably top 5 moments, I would say.
Just the joy of you recounting that, you can feel how much that was a part of your historic career. And I was looking at, you spent some time at Pro Wrestling Blitz in Joliet, St. Joe's Park. It's historic ground. Not the same degree that Hammond Civic Center is, but in Joliet, St. Joe's Park is pretty mythical, with what Blitz did there at the Blitz Arena. And I was looking through some of the tag teams that you went into had great matches with. Hardcore Impact, for one, Elite Pain for another. These are really, really impressive tag teams. The tag team of Shogun and Dynamite Jackson. Gee,
Yeah.
that was when Shogun was developing his persona and becoming that guy. So that must have been incredible. And then, my God, did you have enough matches against Rikishi, Scotty 2 Hotty, and Brian Christopher?
Yes.
My goodness, how does it work? That's another question. When special guests come in and work, how is it dealing with them? Is it a good opportunity, or is it not always great? What was your experience?
Well, I think it just depends, right? I think it depends on a lot of different things. I mean, obviously, when you bring in stars of that nature, they're used to a certain type of, treatment, and they should, right? I mean, they're the house. Thank you for the house today, right? That's the whole reason why people come, is they want to be able to see him. And what was really special about the first Rikishi match was that was actually, I think it was either his first or his second appearance on the independents after the E let him go that initial time. So it was a big deal for people in the independent world to see him work. It was like, man, like, okay, yeah, we could go to. I just don't think that people had the opportunity to be able to see him because he's an attraction, right? I mean, the legacy of the bloodline and everything. It's not just Roman Reigns. It started much later on, but Rikishi was obviously a massive part of that, right? So the allure of having him work in a venue that was not the Allstate Arena or something like that at the time was awesome, right? People can, and that's what's cool about independent shows, is you can actually get up to those people and have really good experiences. And I remember Keish was not super happy going into it, and I don't know if it was just like, you don't really ask during that time. I mean, obviously Scott was real instrumental in getting in a lot of the communication from that time. But afterwards, Keish was real receptive, because when you have a good match and it's like, I don't know if he didn't know what to expect. You know what I mean? Like, he hadn't worked the independents in God knows how long.
Right.
So now he's like, God, I gotta deal with this. Like, he probably didn't know what we were about, So that's part of it too, right? Is when you're put in a marquee matchup like that, you got to show that you belong, right? You gotta prove it not only to yourself, but you got to prove it to the other guys too, and let them know, like, hey man, like, I know you've been there and you've done that and everything, but we're gonna have a great time tonight. We're gonna have fun, and it's gonna be easy on you. And I remember after the match, even too, he was like, I can't wait to see you work my boys. That was one of the verbatim things that he
Wow.
said, was like, I can't wait to see you guys work with my boys. And that was pretty surreal when you think about it. We never had the opportunity. It just didn't work out, but he knew that we could do it. And sometimes I think, and Red, you would know this too, just given the talent that you've been around. It's hard to get to that next level. Um, and I think that when you work those guys and they give you that type of compliment, it's not as if it were, if you could do this. It's like, no, you can. You just right 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 size, wrong shape, whatever it may be, or wrong opportunity. We didn't need you at that time, whatever it is. That doesn't take away from who you actually were as a talent, though. And that was a hard thing for me to kind of deal with in the middle of my career, is when you get a lot of guys telling you throughout your entire career, like, oh yeah, you're gonna go. That's all we were told, is like, keep doing what you're doing. They're just going to pick you up eventually, because you're just undeniable in that way. And for you to keep hearing it and to keep hearing it, and then you get a couple opportunities, and then you get a tryout, and then you get a second tryout, and you get told verbatim, hey, yeah, we're going to do business. And then for whatever reason, that call just never comes, and you never put pen to paper, so to speak. It's a hard thing to struggle with when you're in your 20 somethings, because it's like, all
Shit,
right,
when you get
I
30
go.
something.
What's that? Say it again.
Oh, I was just saying, shit, in your 30s and 40s, shit, it
I
ain't no
know.
easy. I mean, it's crazy because you were saying that, and I remember one of the first people that I ever shared a locker room was Tito Santana. And Windy City decided to run out of the my Midlow Dome. I don't know why.
Okay.
Um,
Good
But
old Don Preston.
trust me, it doesn't look the same.
Oh,
But I remember, for whatever reason, whoever I was managing and Diamond was with me and all of that. And we come to the back. He was like, "You got it, my brother. You understand the business. You're going to go far. The WWE is going to call you." And I'm like, shit,
Right.
Tito Santana just told me. Then I remember Jimmy Hart saying the same shit. And I'm like, well, this is a person that I do what he does. So
Oh, yeah.
if he says, and it's like, okay, and I remember just meeting people, like you said, and they all, I don't know if they got a script and shit that this is what they're supposed to tell independent guys or what,
Sure. Right. Right.
but it was like, oh, okay. And then you see the fucking New Day on WWE, and it's like, let's see, a big guy, that's Willie. A
Uh-huh.
charismatic guy, that's Jazz. The high flyer, that's Marsh. You motherfuckers just stole my goddamn team. Like,
True that.
it's shit like that that is like, fuck it, and for us, we got so far until this day. I am bitter, and I have no problem with telling anybody
Yeah.
that we finally had Carrie that owned Ring of Honor saw us and said, I want you guys to work for me.
Yeah.
Perfect. Like, oh my God, this is it.
Yes.
Like the biggest indie fucking shit that's going on right now, and you want us. Thank you. He was like, here is my booker's information. Reach out and we'll get it done. Perfect. They're coming to Chicago. Perfect.
Right. Perfect. Love it.
And the booker at the time is Adam Pearce.
Interesting.
And when I say I sent the email, told him who we were, told him what happened, and he said, okay, how much? And now I have to be honest, because what are you looking for us to do? Do you want the whole entourage? That's
Right.
6 people. Do you want a tag team? Do you want a singles competitor?
Right. Tag and a manager, no manager. Yeah.
Right. I had to explain to him that we're an intricate group. We're just not all gonna show, and expect to be on the card. And never heard anything from him ever again.
Right.
And it was like, what the fuck? All you had to say was, hey, give me a tag team and a manager. Okay, guess what? Me and Jazz Marche gonna show up. If you say you want all 6, guess what? Everybody get your shit together and we heading out. If you say you just want one, Shay, handle that business. We'll be behind you. But to respond to nothing, and again, every day I'm on my email. Refresh,
Yeah.
refresh, and nothing. So it's stressful, when you're told by people that have already made it that you've got it. You've got the look. I know Marche talks about it constantly, that he was told, he had the height. He had to put on a couple of extra pounds. So what did Marche do? Marche put on a couple of extra pounds.
Hell yeah.
And it was always something different. And it was like, I understand the frustration. You're told, hey, you're there, just got to do this.
Oh yeah.
And then you go do it, and you go back, and okay, well, you did that. but you need to work on this. And
Right.
it's like, so, but despite all the odds, he's one of those guys that have had great success, And I mean, it's funny because I wanted to ask you this. Do you remember where we first met?
I don't know. I would assume probably
Fire
CSW.
Pro, Fire Pro.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. No, I do. I do remember that. Okay.
Fire Pro.
Wow.
And
Man.
Steve, this is why I love If Looks Could Kill. Because we got randomly, I don't know how the hell we got booked on this show.
Right. Right.
I really
You
don't,
never know
because
how it happens. You're just like, okay, we're going here tonight. Like, all right.
right. I can't. I don't know if it was one of those trauma things where trauma made the call or somebody, and they were like, "Yeah, come in. We can use you guys for a night." I was like, "Okay." Now, mind you, Botch, God rest your soul,
Mhm.
was still there at the time.
Right.
So you've got them running around. So they're already intimidating as shit. But you walk in and you see this team, and Steve, I think Greg is, he's not telling the whole truth. When I say their gear was spot fucking on, like, it wasn't so much as the design, it was the colors they used and the different combinations that they used. And it was like, I remember that night they had the orange. But what fucked me, like, they looked like a team.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
looked around and I'm like, don't nobody else look like a damn tag team around this motherfucker. Like, are they the only tag? And they weren't the only tag team on the card that night. And it was like, okay, all right. And I looked at Trauma and I looked at Shay. Oh, yeah, we don't look like a tag team, y'all. Like, I held what they looked like from that moment on at looking if looks could kill. Now, I didn't want them to imitate them, but I told, hey, when we go out, y'all better call each other, color coordinate this shit. Don't one person show up with white gear and the other person show up with black gear. Like, no, we look dysfunctional, damn it. Buy the same goddamn colors. And for the longest time, we did. Like, when we started really moving up, like, everybody started understanding we needed to look like a unit. And I credit that all to Brian and Greg, because again, they showed me. I mean, we seen it growing up, like the Killer Bees and the British Bulldogs and the Heart Foundation, but to see two guys where we were and they took it that serious. Like, we looked the part, and then you watch them wrestle or you wrestle them, and it's like, oh shit, they know what they're doing, man. Like, all right, I never had to worry about my boys if Greg and Brian were across the ring. Never.
It was a night off, honestly. It was
Dude,
just
it was
fun.
either.
It was
And
a
I
lot of
got
fun.
one question.
Sure, go ahead.
High voltage?
Man, we've had a ton of different tag team names, but that was pretty bad. That was pretty bad.
Omega Fire, the Young Guns. I mean, they're out there, those names.
Yeah, oh, right. Omega Fire, the
Yeah.
Young Ones. We were Alpha and Omega. Yeah. Well, so do you guys know how we came up with If Looks Could Kill?
No.
Okay, so same concept, Red. We're in a Fire Pro locker room, and I think this could have been how it all got tied into one another at the time, but we're in a Fire Pro locker room, and obviously this is a guy who he's one of us, and I'll never forget it either, but he's made it. Mustafa Ali is sharing a locker room,
Right.
and he was working Prince Ali at that time, and it's an easy gimmick for everyone to understand. And I remember him instantly looking at us and being like, I gotta talk. Like he saw us instantly and was like, I need to know everything about you because I'm just interested in developing you and getting you to the next level. He was always someone that not only was he thinking about himself, but I just think that he gets underrated in the fact of like his creativity to be able to look at anyone at any moment and to get the absolute maximum potential out of them is something that's really hard to do. But Ali is better than anybody who can do it. So he asked us, what's your tag name? And we told him at the, like high voltage or whatever the fuck we were using at the time. Can I say that? We'll
Yes.
figure it. Okay. Whatever we were using at the time, right? And he's like, man, you guys literally have everything, but we got to change that name. That name's bad. We got to just like, so we started workshopping it a little bit. And he's like, what are you guys about? Like, what do you do? Blah, blah, blah. And so like, we're trying to tell him, but it's like, we don't even know who we are at that time either. Right. Like and this is like, we're 19 at the time. We're not even like in our 20s yet. So we're just trying to kind of have a match and walk and chew gum at the same time, let alone like, okay, we need to know your character. You're going to start cutting promos and everything. And we're like, gosh, man, we're just trying to get the basics down. But I remember him, he asked a weird question, but it was like super smart. He was like, what kind of music do you guys listen to? And I'm like, well, our favorite band right now is A Day to Remember. Like we really like A Day to Remember. And he's like, okay. He's like, do any lyrics or like any of their song titles? Like, he's like, just read me off a couple of like what they're, he's like, I know they're an indie band, but like, tell me what it is. And we're naming a few of this off on like an album. And we get to a song, If Looks Could Kill. And he stops and just goes, that's it. He's like, that's 100% who you guys are going to be. And I'm like, and I don't even know if like we really understood where that could go. But when we started kind of unpacking it too, it's like, well, there's a lot that you can do with that. That's an open-ended name that you could be heel, you could be baby, you could be prima donnas, or you could be some fighters. And that's what we ended up becoming as we got a little bit older and started to kind of get some of that physique that we have now, right? Is like, we're not just 20-year-old kids anymore. Now we're not just looks, we're kill too. You know what I mean? So it was just the evolution of the character, but that's 100% on Ali. He was the one to kind of unlock that part of our name, and then we were just looks and there's looks, in every locker
I
room.
mean, we call that's what
Right.
Looks is here. All right.
Looks is here. All right, here we go.
I gotta love a good origin story.
Yeah.
We would be remiss if we didn't talk a little bit about Dreamwave. And
Yeah.
one of the things that I've always heard stories about going back to a Survivor Series kind of situation, Team Dreamwave versus Team Revolution. Do you remember that scenario?
I do. I want to say this was when Brian and I had broke up.
Yes, because he was on Team Revolution, which was
Right.
being led by Austin Roberts, who you mentioned
Austin
earlier.
Roberts. Yep,
But
yep.
you had some assassins you had some killers, no pun intended, on your team in one of Red's favorite wrestlers, Acid, from
Oh yeah.
LWF, and Steve Boz, of course.
Yeah.
So it was quite a assortment of characters from many different
Was
places.
Tommy Dreamer our fourth? I think.
Dreamer
Yeah.
was your fourth. So
Okay. All right.
you've got
I remember it now.
CSW, you've
I
got
remember.
PCW, you've got LWF, and we've got you as Team Dreamwave taking on Roberts and Brubaker and Luther and of course Brian. What a crazy assembly of people that match must have been.
Well, and Luther during that match was actually right. Am I breaking the fourth wall? Am I not supposed to say that?
Luther dead. So
Yeah, yeah, right. So Luther during that match was actually Matt Reinhold, who ended up being Aiden English,
Yes.
right? So
I
again,
think
just
he's gone
another.
back to Matt Reinhold now, so I think he's back as Matt these days because I've
Okay,
worked
all
with
right.
him in a couple of
Well,
places.
just so that everyone knows, because
Yeah,
they might not know the origins of everybody,
right, right, right.
but again, like okay, there's another cast of just eight eight guys that golly, if you'd have told me, I just don't. That's so cool that you go back and you're reminding me of this stuff that it's like, man, I had so many awesome opportunities and just I'm so thankful for everything that I've gotten to do. 17 years is a long time to do this, and it's basically over half my life now. And and man, how cool is it to go back and think about that type of stuff? It's like a couple ex WWE guys. We got uh, I mean, any Chicagoland, I mean, Acid, God, that guy's done literally everything around around this area
And he's
too,
still
right?
doing it.
And he's still doing it, yeah. I mean, so it's cool to it was really cool to be in that mixture of stuff and to continue to kind of pay it forward the way that I am now. I think it's important to acknowledge that. Is I had some awesome teachers, man. I mean, God, anytime I could go in and pick the brain of Red, Willie, Austin Roberts, Boz, a young Hades, but Hades was so intelligent at that time. It's not a surprise that he's running CSW the
He's
way
one
that
of
it
the
is
smartest
now.
guys in wrestling I've ever met.
Right, and then you got some underrated guys too, Mister 450, right? you got you got
Mega Wolf. Mega
yeah,
Wolf.
Mecha Wolf.
Cool.
Now it's like, man, crazy to think how much talent that we had under the same roof at that time. And you just never know how it's going to be either. So that's why it's so important to go to independent wrestling shows, is because you can literally stumble across a card of future stars in all different walks of life, either AAA or AEW or Ring of Honor or NWA or it's NXT. I mean, we've all touched all parts of the world in that regard. And just to think that it's like that old Office quote that Andy Bernard has is like, I wish somebody would be able to tell you when you were in the good times before they actually passed you up along. And I'm paraphrasing that a little bit. I don't know exactly the way that it goes, but those were some awesome good times. Good times, man.
You have had a like I said, you've had a storied career, and that's why we were so excited that you said, "Hey, you still have that podcast, right?" Because it set everything up for the way we want to end this show. And before we let you go, I want to talk about something that we've talked about a little bit over time. The greatest match that never happened.
For
So
sure.
back in 2016-17, Crash Tested Wrestling was an up and coming promotion. We were doing a lot of things the way PCW did them. Sometimes we would bring in talent, sometimes we wouldn't, but it was a good locker room of talent.
Yeah.
And we had a big show planned at a building in Markham, and tickets were sold, promises were made, and the match was being billed as the best of the Midwest, and
Yeah.
it was Greg Glover versus Jason Hades. Now, I had seen you both work in various situations. You had been coming off a time where you had been working John Hudson.
Yeah.
You had a program with John Hudson, and Hades had done some things too. So the fact that and that's when I was only a few years in because Crash Tested was only the second place I ever worked. So I was still relatively new, and I was just trying to be JR about everything. I hadn't really found my own style yet. But I
Yeah.
was really excited about this match because I had loved what you had done with Hades, or what you had done with Hudson, and I had loved watching Hades work. So we were going to get this big epic match, these two guys that have crossed paths in various places at various times, and it was going to be one of our main events of that show. And then the LRP, which was the people that ran this company, called the match off because they had said at the time the venue was double booked. But see, Red, we know that wasn't true, don't we?
Oh, of course, of course. Fuck y'all. I'm just gonna put it out there. Just fuck y'all.
Yeah.
You motherfuckers made promises you couldn't keep, and you fucked the boys. So, White Phenom, fuck you.
We hear a lot about people talking about bad people, bad business people in this business. And those people that took the money and ran, shall we say, not only did they rob the people of the pre-sales that they never got their money back, the boys that didn't get their paydays because that was a big show. I think we had who was the star of that show? Wasn't it
Wasn't Bischoff again? Wasn't Bischoff
no,
supposed to
Bischoff,
come
you and
back?
you and Hudson at Destiny 3 had Bischoff.
Okay, but I thought he was supposed to come back
He
though.
was supposed to buy the company and be the guy. Well,
Right.
he
Yeah. Yeah.
bought
Yeah.
the company all right. He ran the company right. Go figure, right? How life imitates art.
Sure.
But I have since that day, it's 9 years ago, right? 9 years ago, I have been
Damn.
bitter about I didn't get to call this match. So
Yeah.
I'm going to call it out right now. You're here, and we're so thankful that you came on. And Hades doesn't often watch this show. He should because it's basically we go and we herald CSW is the greatest of all, but he should watch. But I'm going to make him watch it this time. Jason Hades, this is for you. I'm going to be retiring soon. I'm going to be out, but you could give me a great retirement present. Bring Greg Glover to CSW for one night only, and you bandage up your shoulder, get yourself ready to go, and give me the best of the Midwest before I die.
Oh man. Oh man. That would be well,
If you
so
got that call, you would do that. You would work that match.
yeah, yeah, I would.
God, the history, the magic that match would yield would be that would be the greatest story for me to ever tell.
And Jason and I, we talked about it a lot, even leading up to it. We were both really excited to have that match. I can remember it vividly that we were very excited to be able to have that opportunity because that was at the time in 2016. That was at the time where everybody was making their list, right?
Right.
The list of the guys that they wanted to work or whatever. So me being me, I'm going to get in on it a little bit. I don't typically follow trends, but this time I did. I liked it. Yeah, Hades was at the top of that list. I wanted that match with Jason for a while, and he was like, what do you think about doing this? And we had a little bit of some things leading into that with the Hudson match, which allowed us to then, build a little bit of a background to it to finally market it the way that it was being billed as
Yeah.
is like the best of the Midwest. And then yeah, to not have that, I remember being really let down. I mean, obviously everybody was, but from a personal side of things, Jason's a good friend, and he was one of the guys that I always connected with really well in locker rooms because not only was it about his professionalism as a worker, but he's just a good human being. I mean, you could talk sports, life with him. Great guy, and I miss Jason too. So, Jason, I hope you're listening, and I miss you, buddy. Hope all is well.
I'm not going to get inducted into the CSW Hall of Fame like Red is, but they could give me a retirement gift before I've given them 7 years. I deserve some severance pay, if you will. Glover versus Hades, I would consider the best of the severance pay.
Oh man,
we've got Black and Blue Wednesday coming up. It doesn't look like you're slowing down anytime soon, Greg. Are you prepared to go just until the wheels fall off, or do you have an idea of when are you making another list to kind of take it to the end, or are you just going to kind of see how it goes?
Well, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, I had re-upped a contract with ARW 3 years, and that was 3 years ago. It was actually right after the last Black and Blue, when I had lost an opportunity at the ARW Pro Championship against another one of my best friends in the business, Nick Cutler. Nick, I hope you're doing well. Also, I'll call you tomorrow and we'll hash it out. I miss you, buddy. But I I re-upped for 3 years, specifically because I wanted to be able to tell a story during that time that's coming to a head here. Um, I don't know what Black and Blue Wednesday will lead to. I know that we have not been in direct negotiation with a new contract, but hell, I could retain the championship and maybe I just show up at CSW and decide to defend the ARW Pro Championship there and maybe give the old Northwest Indiana Federation a little bit more exposure. Who knows? I
As
mean,
general manager of CSW, I would welcome you in our building anytime you wanted to come down, just because I would just love to see Hades' face. Look, it's Greg. I
yeah.
think it's
Oh
fantastic.
man, big hug all the way around. But yeah, I don't. I know when it's time. I would say that the time is going to be sooner rather than later because I don't want to go until the wheels fall off. God has given me really, really good health throughout this whole thing. The worst injury that I ever sustained in a professional wrestling ring was I separated my shoulder when Rhino gored me. And it was my own fault. I was just being an idiot. Obviously, to take a gore, you kind of have to be an idiot, but nevertheless, this is where we found ourselves. So, but no, I've been blessed with a lot of really good health. So I don't want to run until the wheels fall off because I see a lot of the old guys, and I don't want to have bad knees. I don't want to have bad shoulders or major injuries like that or a bad hip or anything. So I think it's coming and it's coming sooner rather than later.
Well, I think you are the best version of yourself right now because the persona as ARW champion is the strongest I've seen. And the way you command the respect of not only the locker room, but the fan base is really just what wrestling is all about to me. And I'm so pleased that I've had a chance to call these matches and to be part of your story, at least a little bit here at the end,
Yeah.
because you've always been such a fascinating character and you really have always been one of the best of the Midwest. And like I said, we're just so thrilled that you came on the show as we're winding things down. But it would be remiss if we didn't have Mr. C. Red do what he does to all of our special guests. And Red, would you like to give Mr. Glover his flowers, please?
Oh my God, Greg, bro, we we have had some times.
We have.
Um, again, from us meeting at Fire Pro, uh, us being married at CSW, uh, sharing Dreamwave, which for me, uh, the shows were great, but for me, it was always the locker room. Like
Yeah.
just
The
just the bull,
boys,
just
the boys and
bullshit,
girls. Yeah.
just bullshitting in the locker room. That was it for me. Like,
Yeah.
nobody could understand. They like, you make that drive. Yes, I make that drive.
Yeah.
Because, and I would make it by myself, but it was about I knew the bullshit, the stories, just the camaraderie
Yeah.
the locker room. You, my friend, have been a pillar of excellence. Um, I've never seen you lose your temper, and I'm sure you can. I mean, you're human. But regardless, you always did business.
Mhm.
You were an upstanding guy. And when I said earlier, I never had to worry about my guys when it came to you and Brian. I didn't. I can't say that about everybody.
No.
There were people that when you get to the building and you see the card, or the card is, released 2 or 3 weeks out, you know, you got to come up with a fucking plan. Like,
Mhm.
hey, if this shit goes left, uh, this is what I never had to do that with you, and
Oh
I
yeah.
believe that's part of the reason uh we were always great together. But you are a man of integrity, and I love that about you. That what you say uh you're gonna do, and not just so much as in the ring, but I've kind of watched you move back and forth throughout life. And, the boy, if you don't mind me saying that, the boy that I saw come into the business at 19, like, he's way gone. And the man you've become is like so damn great. Like, if I could be your father, like, I'd be like, oh wow, I'm proud of his ass. Like, because you have just every notch in life, you have taken it and you have succeeded. And I'm proud and I'm very happy for you. As far as, I did hear what you said. Look, man, when we got bad knees and shoulders, bro, no, but don't wake up with these pains. You don't want these pains.
Right.
Um, but even now, the level that you are competing at is off. Because for me to watch you just weeks ago, like, somehow you took 19-year-old, put it in a bottle, tighten the lid, and every now and then, okay, I got a match.
Right. Yep.
Put that lid back on
I
because
still got that gear.
you got
And
that 19-year-old juice.
yeah,
And bro, just to see that you can go like nobody's business, like, I am I'm really going to morally pay attention to ARW
good.
because I want to see what they can throw at you.
Mhm.
But right now, there has again, I don't know if I'm gonna make Black and Blue Wednesday. I'm gonna try. Hold on.
I'll come pick you up.
Hey,
Folks,
see,
Come
he
on, man.
always want to pick somebody up, and then he ain't got to hear my wife fuss. When see, like,
that's fair.
like, oh, so, bro, thank you for being one of the good guys. Thank you for, if nothing else, embracing me as a brother in this business. Um, there's a lot of people that we've known that, you know, I don't know why, and I do know why, because managers always get a bad rep, or managers said not to be needed, and for so long, I shown there is still value in that asset.
100%.
Uh, you guys never treated me like shit. You
Oh yeah.
guys always put me like, whoa, what about Red? And,
Yeah, right. Where are we getting Red at in the match? Like, because
right.
he's in. Like,
And
and 100%.
there were times where I didn't want to, because no, not because I didn't want to get physical,
Right.
but if I know that the talent speaks for itself, let you guys go out there and have a fucking ball. Like,
Yeah.
I want the people, to see that. Now, if the finish called for shenanigans at the end, okay, yeah,
Right.
I'm gonna do what
Middle
I got to
name.
do. But thank you for accepting me, man. I appreciate it. I love you for it. You are one of the best in life and in this business. Thank you so much.
I love you too, pal. Thank you. Thank you very much for all of the, God, just the awesome. When you said flowers, yeah, that wasn't just a bouquet. That might have been the whole shop right there. I
He's
really,
very floral.
yeah. I mean, and you said a lot of things. I I want to give it back to you as well. I meant everything that I said. When I saw you at the Hammond Civic Center, we just hugged for a long time. And it's not like in a weird way, you know what I mean? But just like the embrace of just when you hadn't seen a good friend, a brother, someone that you went up and down the roads with in a long time, and just to see you and just to hug you and just be like, man, you look great. You look like everything's been going well in your life. And I watch from afar. I think we all do in some way, shape, or form. We check in, and we probably don't say it enough because we're tough guys and stuff, but I love you for it, man. I love you for that. Thank you for everything that you said. And yeah, one thing that I want to kind of tweak that you said a little bit earlier is like you wanted to pull back and let the talent shine through. That's kind of what you said during some of that when you didn't want to get in. Brother, you are the talent. Okay. You're as equally as talented as anybody else that's in that locker room. You brought to that act. They're not the soul touches without Red. They aren't.
Yes. Tell Billy Corrigan that.
They aren't. They aren't, and I'll stamp that for sure. So I mean, I'm thankful that we got to do this together. I'm thankful that we all got together and made this plan happen. I'm thankful I just was changing in the same part of the locker room as you guys, being like, hey, you guys want to do this or what? Like, let's take a trip down memory lane. And we talked for a long time, man. We could talk for another 2 hours, well, however long it's been. But I just thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to be on here. Red, very, very thankful for everything that you said. Congratulations to you and the Hall of Fame next week. Very well deserved. And Steve, thank you for putting the bow on this entire thing, man. I think our paths didn't cross that much, but you've always been very respectful to me, and that's how I am with everybody too. Is as long as you're respectful with me, I'm going to be that way to you. I just believe that as a person, and that man of integrity that Red mentioned a little bit earlier, is that I've always valued what my friends and family and my peers think of me. And at the end of the day, okay, yeah, I never made it. I never made a ton of money in this business. I don't know if anybody really makes a ton of the money unless you're that 1% of the people that we talked about. But I had so much fun and I had so many memories with some of the best people, and you're both a part of that. And I want to thank you for that. So thanks, guys.
Greg Glover, ARW champion, maybe the best ever. We thank you for your time tonight. And even though you're many years on, the looks, man, they still fucking kill. Thank you so much for being on our show, one of our final guests. This has meant the world to me, and I look forward to hanging out with you at Black and Blue Wednesday. We're going to have some shots and have some fun. It's a pleasure and a privilege to have you be on the Power Hour. Thank you so much for your time.
Love you, boys. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Now log off, because now we got to talk about you behind your back.
All right. Yeah, right.
That's Greg Glover, ARW champion. Catch him Black and Blue Wednesday coming up in just a few weeks, right before Thanksgiving. Thanks, Greg. Have a great night.
Take care, boys. Have a nice one. Bye bye.
All right, that of course is Greg Glover. Tell me we didn't just have some fun with that guy right there. Man, he is one of the most entertaining guests we have ever had, Red.
And it took you long enough.
I never had I mean, we were sitting there. He's like, "Hey, you still have a podcast?" I'm like, "Yes, let's please be on it." But man, the best version of him is the version right now. And for him to take time out and we started at 6:30, Red. We've been almost 2 hours. We never
Oh
do this
wow.
for the guests. Some guests barely last 30 minutes, if you know what I'm saying.
No, that person did not last 30 minutes. That
So
person lasted 17 minutes and we had to fill the rest of the hour.
Yeah,
So
and we were like tired by the time it was over too. It was wearing on us. Glover is and I'm hoping, it was said in fun and in jest because I know everybody's busy in their own things. But boy, if at some point before I walk out, I could get to call a Glover Hades match. Now Hades is on the mend right now. He's got a shoulder thing, so I don't think he's working. I don't even know if he'll ever work again, to be honest. Maybe not. But boy, if he could have one more match and it could be him and Glover one time, whether it's CSW, ARW, doesn't matter where, I would just like to be on the microphone for that match because boy, the historical precedent and references that I could make for these two athletes would just make my career and make me very happy because I've been waiting for that match for 9 years. Still haven't gotten it. Still hopeful, but the years they are going by, and he's going to be at Black and Blue Wednesday. He is the champion. He's got a big match coming up, and his contract has come to an end. So, what is his future with ARW? We don't know. So there are a lot of questions. Uh, and we're going to jump right in. We got a special guest, Red, that's popping in tonight. Cactus is sick, so we are going to do a little bit of knockout business because the Miners just had a show this past Saturday, and there she is, the one and only Magic, aka Hazel. Hello
Hello.
there.
Hello.
hello.
In 5 minutes, tell us everything we need to know that happened at the bout this past Saturday.
First of all, I ran chin first into Carrot's elbow pad, so that was great. Did we win? No, he sadly did not win, I think. Yeah. There was a lot of falls. Oh my god.
Take your time. We've got time.
Yeah. Tired, so I forgot.
Let me tell you this. I have had the great pleasure of seeing you skate for a couple of years now. And though I wasn't there Saturday night, and I wish I could have been because I enjoy calling your matches and watching you skate, I can't tell you how proud I am of you because I can't believe how far you've come and how talented you are at what you do. Your skating has become like 1,000 times better. Your confidence is better than I've ever seen it. You really are becoming your mother's daughter. And that is one of the greatest compliments that I can give you because she is knockout toughness personified. And if you are becoming that kind of knockout assassin, God have mercy on the skaters you go up against with. Because I saw you doing that one-legged Marley Quinn stuff. I saw that. I saw that stuff. You don't think I noticed, but I noticed. How does it feel to know that you're becoming a superstar? Because you never get somebody talking to you that knows what's happening, and maybe you don't see it. Do you know that this transformation is happening?
Yeah, it's also good to know because I've told my teachers and my classes, and it ends up that a few of the kids at my school are now afraid of me.
As they should be. I think I'm a little bit afraid of you.
And they're all boys, so
Boys are dumb. Trust me, I'm one of them. I know, but that's neither here nor there. So right now, that was the last bout for a while until we get to the new location and the bank track gets set up. Does that mean the Miners are going to be bank track skaters at some point as well?
yes. So I think we're almost all of us are gonna have to learn how to skate on the banked track. Besides maybe me and Poison, because when they first set up one of the bank tracks, me and her actually got to skate on it after it was finished.
And how did it feel? I mean, it's got to be way different than what you're used to. I mean, the angles, the way you have to skate at certain moments and certain times, right?
Yeah, it's from what I remember, it's kind of weird because you're like on your side, so you're thinking you're gonna fall constantly, and then you're like not falling at all.
But that was a while ago. You've come a long way.
Yeah,
I bet you and Poison are going to be pretty awesome at it.
yeah,
Is Poison your partner in crime?
very much so.
Oh my God, it's like the generations mirror each other because we all know Cactus and Marley are sisters of a different breed, so that means you're just following in their footsteps.
Yeah,
So what was your favorite moment that happened this past Saturday?
possibly just being able to skate after like a while, like even if it was the last bout and only the second one.
And you're jamming so well. You're playing defense back. See, that's the thing I think people lose in, the translation when we're watching roller derby. Everybody knows what the jammers do. They're scoring the points, they're doing the thing. But the way you guys play defense in the pack, especially you, the way you throw elbows and maneuver to keep the jammers from getting through and and all the whips and things. Do you know how good you are at that stuff? I mean, you have to at this point, right?
Yeah, and I'm hoping to get much better and stronger.
For you, I believe the sky is the limit, and I am so happy that I have the best seat in the house to watch magic become just that, magic. And I know your mom is just over the moon proud of you. What is it like to have a legend, being your biggest fan?
It's good, especially when like she can give me tips or something.
You're getting tips from one of the finest, that's for sure.
Her and Marley.
So, am I going to see you at the final bout in Homewood in a few weeks?
Yes.
Will you be running around? Keep dad joke girl away from me.
Oh, lethal.
Keep her away from me. I'm broke.
I'm
I'm poor.
I'm pretty sure her dad got her a giant book of dad jokes, so I'll do my best, but she'll
Oh,
probably
Judgment
help me.
Dave, you bastard. Hazel, we love you. We love you as Magic. We love you as Mothra. Whatever character you are, we love you. And we love the knockouts. And I'm so excited that you're doing so well. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in a few weeks at the final knockout bout.
I'm excited too. I'm trying to figure out if I should dress up as Magic or Mothra.
I think it should be Magic because everybody loves a mutant.
I'll have to not bring my sword this time because somehow Jackie Slam's cat tore off a super glued piece.
We just need to build you a new sword.
Yeah, Andy's gonna make me a foam one this time.
Oh God, Hot Rod Daddy Andy making swords. It's as if God himself said, do this right now.
Next, it's gonna be plastic. I can tell.
That's awesome. Hey, thanks for coming on and talking and filling in for your mom. We're getting pretty close to being done with this show, but it's really cool that we got a chance to do a little power hour action with you. Hey, maybe if we come back someday, maybe you'll be part of the new cast.
Yeah.
Would you do that? Would you come on the air with us every week?
Yes.
I'm going to hold you to that. I'm going to hold you to that.
Okay.
All right, log off so we can talk about you.
All right.
Bye, Magic. We love you.
Love you.
All right, so that was the knockouts. The final bout in Homewood happens on November 22nd. Why do I always say the 25th? Because I know that's not right. Let me just verify that so I don't sound dumber than I am.
It's the 22nd.
The 22nd, that's right. 25th.
After.
25th is our last visit with Billy Whack. And then we have Thanksgiving and we've got a whole thing that week. So the knockouts, the November 22nd, the last Rec League bout, HF Auditorium, be there. Okay. What else do we have? We've got Rocket Pro we have to do real, and it's getting late, isn't it? Yeah, all right. We're in for a penny, in for a pound, Red. Well, Rocket Pro Wrestling a place that Red and I do commentary for, had the big Harvest Havoc event. And boy, did we have some epic moments that night. And
Mm-mm.
let's start with the final match of Sam Knight because I've been watching social media and I've seen the footage. I watched you go around from commentary and give him a big hug because of what the right hand of God has meant to you. Um, Corey McHenry certainly got a giant win.
Well, you gotta, in order to go to that match, you gotta go back.
All right, so Marche Rocket and Corey McHenry battled in a Rocket to the Top qualifier match, and Marche Rocket did Marche Rocket things. And although Corey McHenry took the fight to Marche Rocket hard, in the end, an M80 in 3 seconds, very few people get away from. So Corey McHenry was feeling down on his luck. Then Shelley gave him an opportunity for later to become a third member of the Outer Limits Championship, or was it the Intercounty?
Outer limits.
Outer Limits. So he was given an opportunity to fight with Sam and with Kindle Fire for that title. And it's Sam's last match. And, we talked a lot about the history of Rocket Pro in that match. And, I wanted to frame it in a way that everybody that listens to the call on that match understands how important it was. Certainly, it wasn't the main event of the evening. It wasn't the show opener with the heavyweight championship and all the shenanigans that went on there. But as far as I'm concerned, in the historical parameters of Rocket Pro Wrestling, that might have been one of the big matches of the night because you and Sam, amongst others, were the first people in the door when Rocket Pro debuted 7 years ago. You're the originals, the OGs, if you will. And I could hear it in your voice when we were calling that match, and I could see it in your body language when Corey won. As much as we were happy for Corey at that time, and it didn't last, believe me. We were happy for Corey then. Now we hate Corey, and we'll get into that in a minute. Um, I felt like you and I were of the same opinion that we really wanted to see Sam retain and kind of walk away from Rocket Pro as a non-defeated champion. Kind of that guy that, takes the title and goes home and then it's put in a tournament later on down the line. That's what I was hoping for. That's what I was expecting. We didn't get it. And I looked at you and I looked into myself and I'm like, man, I feel we got robbed of a beautiful moment. Did you feel that or did I read it wrong?
No, you read the room right.
It would have been amazing to see him walk up the ramp with that strap, raise it one more time, and then lay it on the ramp for the next generation to fight for and establish their greatness, and then ride into the sunset, as never being beaten. And, it was a great match. And, Corey certainly, overcame the odds to become the new champion. But at that moment, I thought, we were robbed of a moment, but it was still, Sam getting the standing ovation from the crowd, saying what he said, hugging Nuke, hugging you, hugging, all the love that everybody felt for the man, I thought was well deserved, well earned. And, I feel like there's a little bit of a hole in Rocket Pro now because when you lose people like that, you know, we haven't seen Shogun in a while. Not sure when or if we'll ever see Shogun again. There's a hole there because he was such an important piece. And now another important piece is gone. Not that we won't have up and coming superstars fill in and become great as well, but boy, when you're our age and the people that have been around a while start kind of filtering out, like Glover, it'll be a sad day when he goes. It just reminds you of your own mortality a little bit.
I agree. Uh, for me, it hurt. I'm just gonna say it for what it is. It hurt. Um, Not that he lost. I mean, like you said, we both kind of wanted that moment. Uh, you wanted him to lay it, on the ramp. I thought, he might just hand it over to Nuke. Uh, and again, at that point, Corey getting a second chance and took advantage of it and used it wisely. Um, and was able to become the champ, the new Outer Limits champion. Um, but to realize in that moment, uh, Sam Knight's never gonna walk through that curtain again. Sam Knight, isn't gonna be in that locker room anymore. You know, and that's that hole for me.
Yeah.
Me and Sam worked various places together. So to see that again, for me, this was his last trip here. And it was like, wow, you know, his last ride is fastly getting ready to pull into the station. So kind of hurts.
It does a little bit. It's like, it's like you're losing something that you didn't really want to lose, but here we are. Um, Obviously the main event, well, let's start with the opening match. Turtle versus Maximus Orion. It was the repayment of the debt for Turtle taking one for the team. Well earned. I mean, Turtle played his role in ousting the undeniable beautifully. And when you sacrifice yourself for a goal of the team, it's good that they paid it back. So Maximus gave him his opportunity. For Turtle, it was his first major promotion heavyweight opportunity. And I thought he was fantastic. I thought he performed very well, despite Damian Saint and his constant need to undermine what Turtle is doing. It seems like every time Turtle gets to the mountaintop, Saint is there with some shenanigans to kick him off. He turned what was supposed to be a one-on-one heavyweight match into a triple threat match, uh, sending the Muppet Rozzy, as Shelley made many pictures and busted us up on commentary way too many times. Commentary was a little rough at the beginning because we were having some audio problems, but it got better as we went. Yes, I boycotted. I didn't boycott. I simply removed myself from commentary. But Nuke was quick to remind me who I work for, so he said, "Get back to your seat and do your job." So I did, and I'm glad I did because it was a great match despite the shenanigans of Damian Saint. Uh, Turtle, to me, was on a roll to get that victory when disaster struck backstage and an unknown assailant. I mean, how unknown is it really? Certainly the undeniable probably had a hand in that. But
Oh, of course.
they attacked Sean Danger. Sean Danger was left bloody pulp in the back, and you could see it up on the screen. And Turtle had to make a choice. And for Turtle, knowing the man that he is, he's always going to put family ahead of an opportunity like this. And not a lot of people can say they do the same necessarily. Vanity and ego and pride tend to consume most wrestlers at some point or another. But Turtle understands that Sean is family now. And he had to go help his family and protect it. So he left the match, and before he was able to get back, Maximus got the pinfall on Rozzy. So Maximus is still your heavyweight champion. And now moving forward, as we head to Christmas Chaos, Maximus Orion has issued an open challenge. So maybe Turtle gets a rematch. Maybe he accepts it, or maybe somebody else does. We don't know. Details to come, I imagine, as we go by. But that's a hell of a way to start a show, right?
Yeah, but I don't think we're gonna find out until Maximus finds out.
The Undeniable retained their tag team titles as Ripper, Victor Wade, and Aaron Arsenal defeated the debuting Purple Haze.
Oh,
And
but
man,
Purple
you
Haze
gotta
was
love Purple Haze, man.
oh man, Purple
Man,
Haze
now.
was off the charts.
How about if Looks Could Kill could come back to Rocket Pro and fight Purple Haze? Would we love that match?
The park wouldn't be standing anymore.
No. Man, I'm gonna tell Kevin. Kevin, call Glover, call Nelson, aka Dave, and make it happen. Let's reunite if Looks Could Kill and have them come back to Rocket Pro and straighten out that tag team situation. Or
That
would
was
we bring Shogun Chris Logan back and have the final level take on if Looks Could Kill? You think we put some butts in seats for that one?
yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Despite Purple Haze's great debut, the shenanigans undeniable were undeniable as usual.
That damn scarf.
Huh?
The scarf.
Most times scarves, unless you're in an old episode of Tom Baker Doctor Who, a scarf is an inanimate object. But here we are. So that happened. Um, there were many chaotic things that happened over the night. Obviously Marche and Corey, that was crazy. Uh, I don't think we were ready for the ladder match when it showed up because I don't know if my favorite moment was your reaction when Smooth got introduced that was captured forever on film in one of the great pictures of C Red.
Dude. Just something about that dude. Like and
Uh,
and and let's just be honest. Purple Haze again. They pay homage to those stars before them perfectly, right?
and then comes the crying dove.
Dude, now you want that's why he could write a whole new song in his grave. This is why doves cry.
Yeah, indeed, indeed. Before we go over the ladder match, uh, I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to give him airtime here, but I reckon I should. Uh, Stone. I'm not going to say anything other than that. Stone won. He retained his title, but
That's
I didn't
it.
like it. What about you?
Um, are we shocked?
No.
There we go.
The Aaron Stone that I respect, that I love, and that I appreciate is the man that just kind of lays it on the line and ask no quarter, give no quarter. This is shortcut Aaron Stone. Running with Shaq. Shaq is a bad influence on everybody, Aaron Stone notwithstanding. And I just feel like Aaron Stone was doing his own thing. Shaq got into his head, and now here we are with this nonsense. I mean, it was a good match. It was a hell of a fight. But eh. What do you think?
He won that. That's all I'm gonna say. He won.
Uh, Johnny Nye fought Rusev.
He did not fight
He
Rusev.
didn't fight Rusev.
Uh,
You're right. He didn't fight Rusev because
that knockoff Jesus.
yeah, Bowman. I thought the funny thing or Jesus, yeah, Jesus. Uh, I thought the interesting thing was the ending of the night DeSafio match where Undeniable did their shenanigans and Johnny and I had his situation and Nuke came out and said it's going to be a tag team match at Christmas Chaos. Uh, Jesus and Rozzy taking on Johnny Nye and the partner of his choice. And who did Johnny Nye pick?
Pick Nuke.
Big Nuke. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Nuke is going to be lacing him up, and he is going to straight up obliterate and kill DeSafio and Rozzy. And I would hope he brings some clippers to the ring and gives Rozzy a shave and a haircut so he looks like a human being and not a spider monkey.
Hmm.
Hey, that
How
guy that
many?
trained you fought Rusev, right?
Yeah,
Was that Rusev?
John Bowman.
Oh, yeah, that's right, John Bowman. Didn't he used to be Kevin something or other?
Yeah, at one point. I can't even
Man,
remember.
how many names is this guy going to be? He's going to be Kevin whatever. He's going to be John Bowman. Now he's Rusev. What the hell?
You could call him Rusev.
It didn't matter who he was. He could have been Hulk Hogan. He wasn't going to beat the Executioner.
Oh no. No. And
Mike Anthony, boy. Still got
that
gas in the tank. Mike Anthony still whipped that boy's ass.
that was, I don't know if people that were really wanting to see this match, if they thought it was going to be a wrestling clinic. But I know, and you know, and I know especially,
And
and I
I know
think
that you know that I know that you know that I know.
Mike Anthony comes to fight.
Straight up killer.
So
I bet we
that's
see him
what
at
I,
CSW in a few weeks. I bet he and Terry Allen make the drive to see somebody get inducted in the Hall of Fame.
well,
Terry
well,
Allen called out Windy City for Christ's sake. He
I
put it on
know.
social media.
I saw it.
Who
I
the fuck's
love
going to show up? I don't know. All I
it.
know is
Hey,
I still don't get to induct your ass, which is a damn shame because I have over 1,000 views on my post today.
thank you.
Yeah,
Uh,
you're welcome. Did it took you like 6 hours to like my shit. I'm putting you over, and you're like, yeah, I'll do it later. You're talking to other people on their posts before you even like my stuff. Fuck you, man. Don't turtle me.
I'm not turtle.
I'm sorry. That was a joke. That was an honest to goodness joke. Please don't misconstrue because we're not going down that road again. Um, but that brings us to the ladder match. And obviously, Doves cried, but then Muscle Mommy showed up. Did you feel that building shake when she walked out? My God.
I
There is nobody more over than Maya Carrasco at Rocket Pro
there
Wrestling.
was there was an electricity in the building that was it was scary. Like in a good scary, but like you could see as soon as she took 1 foot outside onto that ramp, the park lost it.
And
Just lost it. And she hadn't did shit. She just standing there.
she was in there with some heavy hitters too. And she took one-on-one with Marche Rocket and went right at him. No fear. How is it you're still relatively new, but obviously very strong, and you have no fear and you go up against the superstar of the year like it's nothing?
So I can answer that. I believe I'm not her. Um, but we have to remember her qualifying match. And
Where she put Shaq Jordan down.
and that's it. I'm not gonna say she put him down because his ass is still alive.
She put him down.
But while Shaq might have underestimated her, which I believe he did, she still whooped his ass.
And Marche doesn't underestimate anybody.
So for her to go out there and get the victory on Shaq, that's a huge confidence booster for the simple fact whether we like him, whether we hate him, guess what? He's one of the best right now to do it.
There's no doubt.
And she pinned him.
we are not talking nice about Shaq right now. In about 10 minutes, we'll talk nice about him, but not right now. Because
So
even though Maya fought hard and Marche fought hard, Sam Eli fought hard, all the participants, Berna, who is a legend in himself, the lights out match still looms large, and the cup in the ceiling, the water bottle in the ceiling. You know, this was a match of historic proportions with the people that were in there. Sam and Berna and Maya and Shaq and Marche. This was a banger of a match with some of the best talent in wrestling in there. And at the end of the day, it came down to Marche and Shaq because everybody else was outside or wrestling in the crowd. I mean, there was some chaos going on. But when it came right down to it, Aaron Stone showed his true colors, helped Shaq out, and they got one over on Marche when they added a third person. A black hooded figure appeared and caused some damage to Marche Rocket, maybe some permanent damage, as his knee was injured and he had to be helped from the arena and was seeking medical attention backstage after the match was over. In the end, Shaq Jordan gets the win, gets the briefcase, and now has a title shot whenever he damn well pleases. But more dangerous than that is the fact that now the faction gets bigger and more dangerous. It was already bad enough with Shaq and Aaron Stone because you've got two of the best and brightest in the business there. And now you add the masked man who revealed himself in very disappointing fashion to be the man that we held in high regard earlier in the evening in Corey McHenry. He betrayed Shelley. He betrayed Rocket Pro Wrestling. He betrayed the fans. They were yeeting this man an hour before. And when he took that mask off, they booed his ass out the goddamn building. So now, bad enough it was Shaq and Stone. Now it's Shaq, Stone, and McHenry. So you've got the Velocity Champion. You've got Outer Limits Champion. And you've got the man that holds the briefcase.
you mean the zero gravity champion?
That right. What did I say? Velocity? I meant zero gravity. The zero gravity champion, the Outer Limits champion, and now the man that holds the briefcase that could lead to getting Maximus Orion's heavyweight title. If you hold all the gold, you're the best. And then, despite the efforts of the Rocket Pro Avengers dismantling the Undeniable, now you have a third faction. So you've got the Undeniable still. You've got Maximus and Turtle and Kid Lat and everybody. And then you have now Stone, McHenry, and Shaq. And my question is, who's next?
Well, here's my thing. First of all, I know we've called them the Rocket Pro Avengers. But I don't see them ever coming out to interfere in anyone's matches.
No, they came out to undo the Undeniable, to make that championship match a little fairer and to
Yeah,
pave the way for Maximus to cash in the briefcase.
but the Undeniable do bullshit. And we
Jack
already
Stone and
know,
McHenry do bullshit.
well, we see that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the question that you asked is not a far-fetched question because now we need to know if there's somebody else. Like, the bad part is we can look around. Let's just use this as an example. And I'm sure it's going to happen. Christmas chaos is upon us.
It is.
And in a few weeks, we're going to walk in the park, right?
We are going to walk in there.
Ugly sweater picture day, right?
Yeah.
And we're all going to look around. Or at least me and you. I'll use us. And we have to wonder,
You mean us, the Black and Blues Brothers?
yeah, we're going to look around. We're going to look to our left. We're going to look to our right. And we're going to wonder, are they next?
Yeah.
Are they the next person?
Think about the way this has gone. When Shaq and I fought and Stone turned and became Shaq's buddy, Aaron Stone was the counterbalance to help me. He was supposed to be my avenger, and he
Right.
turned and hit me with a chair in a way that I'll never forget in my life. Then they go out and they get Corey, who was just the fan favorite of a lifetime. Now here we are, and I'm not thinking they're going to get Damian Gray. I'm not thinking they're going to get Steve Michaels. I'm not thinking they're going to get Joey Roth. I'm not thinking they're going to get a villainous character to join their villainous hive. I'm worried that it's someone we like or love.
And that's what I mean,
That's
Steve.
the
We're
problem.
gonna walk in there and be like, and God forbid, and even slap me down for thinking. But what if the next person is Marche?
I got that feeling a little bit as that match ended, and thinking to myself, the God, how would that would be the most unlikely thing. The only thing we have going for us right now, the only thing that I think can stop that madness and that nonsense is somewhere out there right now. There's a picture of Shaq, a picture of Stone, and a picture of McHenry, and Maya Cross is throwing axes and shit at them. So I don't know as they make it out of Christmas chaos, because if they're there, Maya will be there, and I don't think Maya is going to wait to strike. So Shaq might do himself a favor and maybe no show Christmas chaos to maybe have himself a nice holiday season, because you could see the look in Muscle Mommy's eyes as she found out that she lost her opportunity at that briefcase. Dude, she gonna kill somebody. You saw what she did when she did that double lariat over the top rope.
Yeah.
Dead people. I see dead people. Maya Cross is pissed. I wouldn't want to piss her off. You will never hear me say anything on commentary to want to piss off Maya Cross. I assure you of that right now. Maya Cross is the symbol of good and the most dangerous human being in the Rocket Pro locker room right now. And all three of those young men have pissed her the fuck off. So I can't wait to see Maya Cross stuff her foot collectively up their asses, maybe all at once.
Well, it would make
That's
for.
what that to quote Stevie and Paul Young, that's what Christmas means to me.
I agree.
And that was Harvest Havoc. So we look forward to Christmas Chaos in a few weeks. All right. We're 2.5 hours right now. This has just gotten absurd and sick. Thank God this show is ending, because we just don't know how to bottle the ass anymore. It just goes on forever. Maybe Travis is right about all the things he says. Frontline Pro coming this Saturday. I make that trek to Wisconsin with Marche Rocket once again in tow. So we will talk all about that ladder match, I'm sure. We will talk about Greg Glover, I'm sure. We will talk about Lego Assault, I'm sure. But as we're riding to Freedom Cup, we will probably also be talking about what's to come, the Freedom Cup tournament. And this is the tournament where you get a title shot. If you win the Freedom Cup, you get a championship match Saturday, June 13th, 2026 at Honor Bound, the day after my birthday. I may make my birthday weekend. I may go up to Wisconsin Friday night, get a little room service, leisurely get to the venue instead of carting my ass 5 hours. I may make it a whole birthday weekend. It's my birthday weekend. I can do what I want. Just check. I'm listening for the wife to say, the fuck you are.
Right.
I'm about to have the law laid down on me because that's what happens. Um, but the winner of this tournament will face the champion at Honor Bound. Who will the champion be? Might be Sierra. She's renewing her rivalry with Warhorse at Freedom Cup, so anything could possibly happen. So the finals, the matchups are this: Quinn Whittick taking on Jack Vaughn. The thigh slap versus the craziest sumbitch in the game. I love Jack Vaughn. He's
I
one of
do
the coolest guys
too.
I've ever met. But
But I know Quinn. I
I
know
have
Quinn.
learned at Frontline Pro, always bet on Whittick.
All right.
So as
I
much
agree.
as my heart tells me that I think Jack Vaughn could win this match, my head tells me it's Frontline and it's Quinn Whittick's house until somebody takes it away. But I bet I bet it'll be a match that I will look back on in my career and say, man, I'm glad I got a chance to call that. We have got Jared Jacks taking on the wrecker Josh Price. Now, Josh Price is in a horrid mood. He is trying to kill Kid Lat, and it's not going well for either of them. Jared Jacks has been rolling lately. I would not be surprised if Jared Jacks finds a way to take down the monster. But Josh Price, if he's angry, it's like trying to bottle the Hulk. So I don't know. I'd love to pick Jared, but Josh Price is sometimes too tough. So we're picking Quinn, right?
Yeah,
Are you picking Price or are you picking Jax?
I'm picking Price.
All right,
Just
so that would make one of the final matches being Quinn Whittick versus Josh Price, two of the most prolific frontline pro champions. Damn, money. Can you smell it?
yeah.
Frontline be printing it. On the other side of the equation, we've got the doctor of the ooze, the mad scientist Brock Hall, taking on the guy all day, Marche
Well,
Rocket.
I'm taking Marche.
I'm taking Marche too because I don't understand the doctor of the ooze. I know he's running buddies with Avalon, so that makes him dangerous to me because Avalon's crazy as fuck. So I think Brock Hall's got some crazy in him too. And we haven't seen Brock Hall's monster ACR in a while. So, there are some things there. Uh, so okay, we'll pick Marche. And then the other match is the monster known as Kayvon Lee, who's a big dude.
Right.
He's a strong dude, tough dude, bad mamma jamma.
I've seen him.
Taking on the generational treasure, the Shaq Jordan that we love, not the one that we hated 10 minutes ago.
Oh,
I have learned, and Shaq Jordan has three titles right now. He's like a unified champion right now, right?
right.
And the guy that ended Quinn Whittick's streak. If anybody can beat Kayvon Lee, it's got to be Shaq Jordan. So if I'm picking Shaq in that match, no disrespect to Kayvon Lee because I don't want to die. And we got Marche in that other match. Well, I don't care what area code you're in, where you're working, what you're doing. Marche with a bad leg because of Shaq Jordan now gets a chance to put the good leg up Shaq Jordan's ass. Now I know the multiverse should not converge, but it's such a short period of time. I don't know if you had time to forget the shit.
No, I'm sure Marche hasn't forgotten
So
the
if we
shit.
get Marche and Shaq on one side, we get Whittick and Price on the other side. Well, three of the four are historic frontline champions. And then you have Mr. NWA, Mr. M80, all day, half man, half amazing. You name it, he's it. The ultimate soul toucher, right?
Yeah.
Marche Rocket. That's a hell of a finals. And who wins? Can Whittick beat the wrecker?
Who are you picking?
I'm scared of Josh Price, but I will never pick against Quinn Whittick because I know Quinn Whittick doesn't feel pain like normal humans. I think Quinn Whittick likes it. I think he's a masochist. The more he's in pain, the stronger and better he gets. And as much pain as Price can inflict, I think Whittick can turn it around. So I think Whittick makes it to the finals. And then you go to that other side. Who do you pick?
I'm picking Marche regardless.
Well, no, I'm not. I'm talking about the
Oh,
points.
I'm picking Marche regardless.
We're gonna get there. So you've got Quinn versus Josh Price. I pick Quinn. Who do you pick?
Don't matter because they're gonna face Marche.
So you're saying you're going right over the top and saying that Marche is going to ace out Shaq Jordan.
Oh, like you said, first of all, fuck a multiverse. Marche is gonna look at that bad knee and say, "Oh, okay," and put that good knee straight down his throat, and then
Here's
it don't matter. Uh, Marche can have no legs. All he got to do is hook you for the MA.
you're not going to like this at all. But I'm going to say it, and it doesn't give me any pleasure to say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. Shaq Jordan right now might be the equivalent or better than Marche Rocket 10 years ago. And Marche Rocket 10 years ago was a force of freaking nature. That's as much as I hate Shaq most of the time, he's one of the greatest I've ever seen. That's no disparity to Marche Rocket. Marche Rocket is, I'm his JR. He's my guy. I would never pick against him unless I had a theory. Marche's got a lot of miles on him. He's got a lot of shows between now. He's had a lot of shows between then and now. Marche Rocket always on the go. NWA, big matches every time, every week, right?
Right.
Shaq is younger. Shaq is not injured. And Shaq might be the best he's ever been right now. And I know there are things that Marche Rocket knows that Shaq may never know. But in that building at Bakerville, Shaq Jordan has etched out a space that very few people have ever made. And for some reason, I have Shaq Jordan and Quinn Whittick on a collision course because I was there the night Quinn Whittick and Shaq Jordan went at it for that title. I was there that night that they fought in one of the single greatest matches in Frontline Pro history. I think the forces of nature are aligning this matchup for us to see it one more time. Would I mind if it was Marche versus Quinn or even Marche versus Price? No, because I would love to watch Marche Rocket walk out of there with the briefcase. But something just tells me that this Freedom Cup in this year of 2025 comes down to Whittick and Shaq. And in the end, somehow, some way, the generational treasure finds a way to do it again and win the Freedom Cup.
Okay.
That's my theory. And I don't take any joy because all of the people in this match, from Hall to Jax to Price to Quinn, all these to Kevon Lee, these are the brightest stars in Frontline's galaxy. And this is for all the tea in China, bro. Man.
I mean, you win a nice cup, and I mean, you get a future title shot. I get it, but I gotta take Shaq.
There are some other matches happening. We get episode 3 of Warhorse versus Sierra. Episode 1, Warhorse wins, but Sierra puts on the show of a lifetime. Episode 2, Sierra becomes the Frontline Pro Champion and elevates her game bigger than she ever has at any level before. And that's saying something because Sierra might be the best right now. So now here it is, 1-1, the rubber match, the title on the line yet again. Can Sierra beat Warhorse back to back? Or does the commissar learn enough from his last loss to be able to flip the tables and take the title back from Sierra? Because if he does, that might mean that Warhorse and Shaq are destined for a collision at Honor Bound, which is very intriguing. A lot of things have to happen for us to get there. There are 6 months worth of shows to get through. And that's assuming Sierra doesn't retain her title, which she very well may. But God damn it. When you're in a series of matches where you hit the third one and it is leveled up every time, can you imagine what the fans are going to say after this one?
The Warhorse wants a relationship with Sierra. I mean, shit.
Don't say that around Avalon, bro. That's no bueno. Anyway, it's going to be a great match. I think Sierra finds a way to beat Warhorse, and she retains her title, and she goes on and she continues her impressive run because, wow, did she earn that shit. One other match that I'm aware of, at least to this moment, Rory Shield finally defends the Liberty Division title. And I'm not sure her and A.J. Abrams have an answer for who she's fighting. Now, Rory is a bit of a spitfire, a bit of a cheater, not the most honest person in the world, but our Annie is a big fan of Rory, and she says she's as talented as it gets. I think Rory Shield might have wrote a check her ass can't cash.
Okay.
Because it's not just some random person coming to town to challenge for that title. Melanie fucking Cruz is coming to Frontline to take that title.
Oh, she done.
How you gonna stop Melanie Cruz?
That's my girl. So just like I've always bet on Marche, always bet on Mel.
First time I saw Melanie Cruz in a match, she beat the shit out of Rough Crossing. And we all know what happened after that. And that was a Blitz. This is the one of the we watched her shave her head for Brandy Rhodes at AEW, for God's sake. There's nothing she won't do to win. Good luck, Rory. You're gonna need more than popcorn to beat Mel Cruz. But this is why Freedom Cup is the last show of the year. We're going for broke, pulling out all the stops. Don't challenge Ben McCoy because he's going to overcome every time. The Bakerville boys and Ben McCoy, they are giving you the best wrestling Frontline Pro has ever seen. So that's this Saturday at the Bakerville bar. Don't miss it. We'll be there. Red, next week, we got a lot to talk about next week, bro. That is show week. That is CSW C Red comes home week. And we had to book the only guest we could possibly have on the show before CSW Second City Showdown 5 was C Red going into the Hall of Fame. Next week on this show, the return of our longest tenured guest, who by December 16th, if God is my witness, will have a fucking coat. My traveling companion for the weekend, NWA superstar, one of the made men, Marche Rocket, will be here to preview Second City Showdown 5, to reminisce with Red as he goes into the hall, and to follow up Greg Glover as a guest, which is going to be hard to do for the rest of the people we have on this show, because I'm not sure anybody's going to level up like Glover did tonight going down memory lane, man. And you got to give me some credit for preparing well and bringing up all those old matches for him to walk down on, right?
Yeah, you prepared this
plan
week.
Tonight. I might not be any good at this job, says some people, but I had a plan tonight. All right. Thanks to Greg Glover, ARW champion. Don't miss him at Black and Blue Wednesday, a week from Wednesday. And don't miss next Friday night, CSW, C Red, into the hall. Proud of you, brother.
Thank you. We got to thank our correspondent.
And we also, of course, thank Hazel aka Magic, for coming in and sharing some moments and giving us a little bit of love for the Chicago Knockouts. The day after CSW, the Knockouts, the final time at HF Auditorium, I will be there. Hopefully, you all will too. See, right, it's Veterans Day. Very important day for you, obviously. Uh, thank you from everybody. You deserve it. We wouldn't be in the position we are without the people like you that have served. Without those that have served, we have no freedom. Without those that served, we have no America. And despite how fucked up we are right now, there are still people fighting to preserve our way of life. And we should all be grateful. And we should all be humble. And we should all be better people because of it. Maybe it'll take the veterans to unite to make America better again. Because the people we have in leadership ain't doing shit. But I thank you for your service. I thank you for being a great co-host and a great friend. And I am as thrilled and honored and excited as anybody to watch you get your flowers at CSW finally. It's going to be a great night. I can't wait.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thank you for all the flowers and the love. Appreciate it.
Still should be introducing you, though. Still should be doing that shit. Fuck those people. All right. For Red, for Cactus Rack, who wasn't here, for Rion, who wasn't here, I'm Steve. We will see you next week on the Power Hour. Only 5 left. Catch us while we're hot, because it's going to be pretty cold pretty soon. Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching.